Okay, this is lesson 7.3, changing parameters of a linear equation. Please do your warm-ups. We're not going to go over them here, but you can come in and check to see if they're correct. Okay, how do we change a linear equation by shifting it up or down? Well, let me go ahead and graph this equation right here, and then we'll answer that question. I graph this. Let me get this out of the way here. Oops. I graph this equation by first putting a dot at the y-intercept, which is -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to go up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. There's my equation. There's my line. Okay? Now, if I want to change this by shifting it up or down, what I change is I change the y-intercept. So I come over here to the y-intercept, and if I want to shift it up 3 units, 1, 2, 3. There, I just shifted it up 3 units. Now, here is my original line, right here. When I shift the line up or down, I change the y-intercept. So if I shift it up, what did I do to the y-intercept? I added 3. So up equals add. Down equals subtract. And I'm talking about the y-intercept. This involves the y-intercept. So what is the equation? Well, I don't want to graph it. I want to write the equation. So anytime I want to write the equation, I have to write y equals. My slope does not change. See, my slope is the same. My y-intercept does change. -4 plus 3 becomes -1. And that's my new y-intercept right there, -1. Okay? So I don't have to graph it. I graphed it just to show this to you. So let's look at number 2. Shift down. So if I shift it down, I subtract 2. -4 minus 2 is -6. Now, here's a quick, easy way. If you still want to write it out, just draw your x and your y axis. Okay? Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's right here. It's right here at -4. I'm going to shift it down how many units? I'm going to shift it down 2 units. So 1, 2. So now instead of being at -4, I am at -6. So I write y equals 2 over 3x minus 6. Okay? Shift up 5. That means I'm going to add 5. -4 plus 5 would be a +1. Y equals 2 over 3x plus 1. Okay? 4 and 5 are exactly the same. So now I'm going to talk about something different, something else. Okay? We're going to talk about something else. If I can move this yellow box, I can talk about something else. Now, we're going to talk about changing the slope of a line to make it steeper or less steep. When we talk about steep and less steep, we're talking about the slope. Remember, slope is rise over run. Rise over run. This is my slope. Rise is up or down. Run is right or left. Okay? As your rise gets bigger, your slope gets steeper. As your run gets smaller, your slope gets steeper. So what this is really saying is, if my top number is bigger, my line is steeper. If my bottom number is bigger, my line is less steep. I'm going to put steeper. Same. Okay? Big on top, steeper. Big on bottom, less steeper. Bigger on top, steeper. Bigger on bottom, less steep. So let's keep this in mind as we do number 6. I'm going to go ahead and graph it. My y-intercept is actually plus 0 because there's nothing there. So both lines are going to start at 0. Now this one's going to go down 5 over 1 or up 5 over 1. And right here is my line. That's not a very nice line, but oh well. Now this one here starts at 0, but it goes up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 5, or down 1, 1. Now notice when I go right or left, the more I go right or left, the less steep my line is. The more I go up, down, the more steep my line is. Obviously, this is line A, and this is line B. Obviously, which is steeper? A is steeper. Why is A steeper? Because my rise, my top number, my rise is bigger. Bigger on top, this is just like 5 over 1, it's steeper. Now you're going to go, wait a minute, negative 5 is not bigger than positive 1. Well, on the slope of a line, only on the slope, I don't care about negative. Because the only thing negative tells me is, see, this is negative, that means it goes down. This one is positive, that means it goes up. That's the only thing negative and positive tells me. So what I'm looking for is the absolute value of the top and bottom number. Because my rise is bigger, A is steeper. So that's what we're looking at. Remember, we're looking at absolute value. So what's bigger, 1 or 1? Well, they're the same. So then I look at the bottom number. What's bigger, 9 or 9? Well, they're the same. Remember, this negative sign doesn't matter with slope. So these are the same, or neither line is steeper. Why? Rise and run are same. Number 8. This is over 1. This is over 1. Okay, which number has a bigger top number absolute value? Is 2 bigger than 7? No. 7's bigger than 2. So B is steeper because it has a bigger rise. Okay? Now, how do we tell where a graph starts? Well, it starts at the y-intercept. So, I'm just now, oops, sorry. All I'm doing right now is I'm looking at just the y-intercept. So I'm going to write my y-axis. Here's my x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 starts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Negative 10 starts here. This is B. This is A. Which one starts higher? Well, A does. Why? Well, 8 is higher on the y-axis. 8 is higher on the y-axis. So that's why A starts higher. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Now here, negatives do matter. When we're talking y-axis, the negatives do matter. So obviously B starts higher because negative 2 is higher on the y-axis. Okay. These, we're good to go. Number 11. Okay, when my slope is multiplied by 2. Again, the only thing a negative tells me in slope is whether it goes up or down. So, the negative doesn't really matter. So I want to know what happens. So if I multiply 2 times 2, What is my new slope? 4. So my new slope is y equals 4x plus 3. Let's write these underneath each other so we can compare them. So I multiply 2 times 2, because that's what it said, and I get 4. So my new equation is y equals 4x plus 3. Now let's compare these two slopes. 2 over 1, 4 over 1. What happened? This is my old slope, this is my new slope. What happened to my new slope? Did it get steeper? Yes, it did. So when I multiplied by 2, it got steeper. Because 4 is bigger than 2. My rise is bigger, so that means it's steeper. What happens when you multiply the y-intercept by -3? Now, negative matters. -2 times -3 equals a positive 6. So my new equation is y equals 1 over 3x plus 6. Slope, negative doesn't matter. Y-intercept, negative matters. So now I have a positive 6 and a negative 6. So what happened to it? It starts higher. So when you multiply the y-intercept by -3, my line, oops, that's not right. Let's use my pen, but I don't want to use that one. My line starts higher. Okay? Starts higher because 6 is higher than -2. Now, what happens to my graph when my slope is multiplied by -1/6 plus 0? Now, we're talking about slope, so negative doesn't matter. So 6 times 1 over 6, well, that equals 6 times 1 is 6. This is a 1. 1 times 6 is 6. 6 over 6 equals 1. So my slope goes to 1x plus 0. So my top number is 6. It went to 1. What happened here? It got less steep. Got less steep. Okay? All right, that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to come in and ask. Thanks. Have a good day.